Good morning and welcome back to the Livingston Parish News Morning Show. My name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you joining us this morning for the show. If you ever miss these, can't catch them, whatever, of course you can watch the uploaded live video on our Facebook page. You can also check them out, www.livingstonparishnews.com/podcast. We have audio and video versions of these shows there for you to consume at a later date if you so choose. I do recommend them. I make myself sound a lot better using software. So if you don't like the way I sound live, check it out there. Again, that's www.livingstonparishnews.com/podcast. Looking at intermittent delays this morning for your traffic on I-12 westbound from Millerville all the way to Juban. One of those, you get away from the traffic and then get right back in the traffic heading through Millerville. However, relatively clear after that, minor delays at the 10-12 split. Some minor delays on 64 heading into Central. Heavy delays, of course, if you take a left on Greenville Springs, pretty much par for the course. Delays starting to get a little minor at 4-H Club Road, River Road, and 190. A lot more traffic on 4-H Club Road than either other artery. And of course, here we are at about 7:38 a.m. still looking at traffic in and around the high school areas as folks drop their kids off in the morning. Your weather today, 39 degrees, currently 61 is your high, 49 your overnight low. That low may drop a little bit as we get through the day. But right now, again, it's about 39 degrees, 61 degrees, your high today, 49 your overnight low. The Denham Springs Board of Housing Appeals met on Monday. They gave a report to the City Council on Tuesday. Not a whole lot happened. It's a very tough process that they're going through trying to deal with blighted property. A lot of lines of communication have to remain open for these things to move forward. Unfortunately, for the first 10 properties that they're focused on, that would be the city of Denham Springs is focused on, they were considered low-lying fruit, but you still got to touch base with them. Per law, you have to get in touch with these folks 10 days before the meeting, and it has to be confirmed that they were served paperwork. Out of the 10, 8 live out of state, and so that's been very difficult to get in touch with them. They did determine, the board did, that they will meet every second Monday of the month at 4 p.m. So that's going to continue to be a thing. It's going to happen before planning and zoning. And they have tabled just about all 10 properties for that January 13th would be their first meeting of the new year. Now, interesting thing about that, there were 2 homes that did have owners present, or one home that had owners present, another home with a local owner who could not make it because, according to the board-appointed attorney, could not get in touch with them in time. So they're going to try to get in touch with that owner who was unable to show up before the next meeting. So that home got tabled. Also, another home was tabled as the owner did show up. She's currently using the house as a storage unit. Unfortunately, things like a tree has gone through the roof. And those sorts of things have caused that property to fall into major disrepair. So they're talking with the family about removing all of those items, letting the city pay to demolish it, and then and putting a lien on the property, and then letting the family sell the lot, put it back into commerce, use the proceeds from the sale to pay off the city debt. So they're going to start working through that process and give updates as they go along, but at least that started for one of the properties that they're dealing with. Of course, blighted property is always a very touchy subject, very touch and go, because of you're dealing with home ownership, land ownership, which carries a lot of responsibility, but also a lot of rights in America. So, the parish is trying to find a way to deal with this. Walker has been going, they went through it for 8 months for one property. And of course, Denham has many, many, many more that can fall under that blighted designation. There was one that already went through the process of tearing it down themselves. So that was a good sign. That was even before all of this got started. So they will continue to push that, now trying to serve those folks out of state to get those other 8 properties moving in the right direction. School board moved their meeting to Tuesday, December 17th. That'll be next week. It looks like they're consolidating their meetings for this month, only to meet once on that December 17th date, and then we'll break up for the holidays. The parish council likewise has already met once this month. They will come together on the 19th, that's a week from today, on Thursday, to wrap up their 2019 meetings, probably elect a chairman, things of that for the 2020 year. Maybe try to wrap up the road program that they're looking to get going, that sort of thing. So keep an eye on that. We will be at both of those meetings next week. Again, that's the school board moved their meeting to December 17th. That'd be Tuesday. And the parish council has moved their meeting to December 19th on Thursday. Our basketball special section is in this, throw my pen, is in this Thursday's paper. It is the sports section. It's labeled as basketball. You can check it out in there. Stories and pictures about all 18 Livingston Parish teams, thanks to Rob DeArmond, William Weathers, and a few others that helped them out with that. It is online as well. You can check that out, www.livingstonparishnews.com/sports. We will put the content hub on this live show so that you can look at everything to your heart's content and check that out going forward. Again, that's www.livingstonparishnews.com/sports. That's the 2019-2020 basketball special section. Also continuing to roll is the parish tournament. Tons of action over the first couple of days. Please check it out. Some interesting games. I shot photos of quite a very physical game between Albany girls and Walker girls yesterday afternoon at 3 o'clock. Albany ended up pulling that out by 2. So please give that a read. As Mr. William Weathers said, because of the way both teams play, nearly as many turnovers as total points in the game. So that was a crazy one. Of course, the action went on deep into the night. You can check out the results of day 2 of the parish tournament at www.livingstonparishnews.com/sports. One last thing in the sports realm before we move on to a kind of an interesting story. There is the all-parish football selection breakfast will occur this morning. So we'll be looking forward to reporting to you who receives all parish honors for football here coming up in the coming weeks. So look forward to that. An author by the name of Stanley Nelson, who is a Pulitzer Prize finalist, came and spoke in Livingston Parish recently about a pretty fascinating story. It's about a man named Frank Morris, and as Nelson tells it, when he was a child, driving around they were driving, he and his family, through the Faraday area, and they passed a car that was completely in flames. And it looked like it had claimed the life of an entire family, including a 7-year-old girl. According to the police report eventually filed, they were hit by a drunk driver. Many years later, a woman, he had written a story about it, and a woman had called him and told him about her father by the name of Frank Morris and how he was killed. At least she believed he was killed by the Ku Klux Klan. So Mr. Nelson goes through this entire sort of narrative about how he worked through going basically back in time to that situation, rethinking it, diving back into it. The book's called What Happened to Frank Morris. Very fascinating book. Please check it out. But he recently spoke. You can read all about his story and the background on the book at www.livingstonparishnews.com/arts and entertainment. Mr. David Gray covered that talk and the author's background. So thank you, sir, for that. One last time on your traffic, Millerville has intermittent delays on I-12 westbound heading all the way back to Juban Road. One of those mornings where you're going to get out of it and get back into it, get out of it and get back into it. Been there before. I know it's frustrating. This has caused a few small delays at 4-H Club Road, River Road, and 190. More traffic on 4-H Club Road as folks decide, well, I'm not going to try the interstate today. I'm going to try surface streets. Of course, some delays on 64 heading into Central. Major delays on Greenville Springs if you take a left there. Traffic starting to file out in and around Walker, Live Oak, and Denham High Schools. However, there are still some delays on Hatchell Lane and 16 as folks are coming through from those other areas to get on the interstate. A reminder, it's 39 degrees currently. 61 degrees is your high. 49 going to be your overnight low. Chances of that low dropping a little bit, maybe into the lower 40s. overnight. But again, 39 degrees is your current temperature, 61 your high, 49 your overnight low. One last time, my name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you joining us this morning for the Livingston Parish News Morning Show. Remember, you can always check these out at www.livingstonparishnews.com/podcast. We have audio and video versions there if you don't see this live video sometime hitting your timeline throughout the day. We're also once a week in print on Thursdays. We are online, as mentioned. We do have an app. We're on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube if you're interested in social media. Constantly posting videos to those pages in and around the things that we have covered. So, again, we appreciate you joining us. Stay warm today, and we will check you tomorrow here in the booth for a little more parish, some parish council stuff that they'll be discussing next week. Be talking about the parish tournament heading into the final 2 days, and anything else that might crop up today. Hope you have a great day. Thanks for joining us.